NBC15 News at 11 starts now.
Now at 11, the Dane County Fair kicks off today. We have your Ferris wheel forecast. Plus, the immigration crisis is being felt all over the country. We'll tell you what it means for our area. Good morning. I'm Britni McDonald in for Christine Belport. The Dane County Fair kicks off at the Alliant Energy Center today. Several events will be held throughout the day. Youth judging started at 8 this morning, and the carnival opens at noon. The fair runs through Sunday, and on the left of your screen, you can see a live look at the fair through our Capitol Sky Cam. Let's check in with Amy Carlson to see if the sun will stay with us through the day. Amy?
And Brittany, it looks like a fabulous forecast for the Dane County Fair. We're talking about very comfortable weather conditions and lots of sunshine. It's currently 67 degrees under partly sunny skies with winds right now out of the north at 8 miles per hour. For this afternoon, we're looking at a high temperature of just 72 degrees. That's 10 degrees below average, so maybe a light jacket, not a bad idea. And winds will continue out of the north to northwest. Across the region right now, 71 in Lone Rock and currently 68 in Janesville. We'll check out a gradual warm-up on the way in just a bit.
Amy, thanks. We have new information on a farm accident that killed a 9-year-old boy. The Grant County Sheriff's Office has identified the boy who died as Nathan Sensnick. They also tell us Sensnick actually fell into a grain bin and was not trying to fix an auger as authorities previously were told. This happened last Thursday at a farm in Liberty Township. Officials say the investigation is complete and has been ruled as a, quote, unfortunate, tragic accident. One of the big stories around the nation this morning, Congress is getting ready for a showdown over the immigration crisis. Republicans and Democrats are trying to find bipartisan compromise on a plan that will tighten up border security, but care for underage immigrants while they're on this side of the border. And they have to do it before the end of the month, before leaving on their summer break. President Obama submitted a request for nearly $4 billion, but it appears unlikely he'll get everything he wants. And even though we're far from the border, the immigration crisis affects us too. The city of Madison is trying to find a building to house some of the 57,000 minors that arrived in the U.S. Mayor Paul Soglin says the city would have no responsibilities for the facility, and there appear to be no negatives. The facility would house 150 to 250 children for a month or two, while hearings are held that will determine whether they are placed with family members or friends or deported to their home country. Making other national news this Wednesday morning, the U.S. Senate will vote this afternoon on whether or not to proceed with a bill that will reverse the Hobby Lobby decision regarding certain forms of birth control. The Democratic-sponsored bill faces little chance of becoming law under the Republican-controlled House. Another national story we're following this morning, the acting Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Sloan Gibson, is testifying before the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee today. Lawmakers are focusing on what the agency has done to address recent problems plaguing the VA medical system. Committee members are expected to question Sloan on the status of scheduling veterans who have been on long wait lists and the accountability among personnel who allegedly falsified records. More than 60% of the people who lost state Medicaid coverage earlier this year did not purchase private insurance through the online marketplace. That's according to newly released figures by Governor Scott Walker's administration. Walker's Department of Health Services released the figures today. They show that of the nearly 63,000 people who had income above poverty level, roughly 38,000 did not buy federally subsidized insurance through the exchange by the June deadline. Happening today, former Packer safety Darren Sharper will be in California court on sexual assault charges. The 38-year-old is charged with drugging and raping 2 women last year after meeting them at a West Hollywood nightclub. After the preliminary hearing, he's scheduled for an extradition hearing to Arizona. Prosecutors there say he drugged and sexually assaulted 3 women. He's also being investigated for sexual assaults in Louisiana, Nevada, and Florida. Sharper has denied the allegations. He played for the Packers from 1997 until 2005. Also today, a man accused of taking inappropriate pictures of women in a public bathroom is due in court. 23-year-old Joshua Miller will be arraigned. He faces 2 counts of capturing photos depicting nudity. It happened late last month at the Palmer Park Wading Pool Pavilion. And a woman charged with killing her 1-year-old daughter will also be in court. 23-year-old Tally Jean Stroman of Beloit will have her final pretrial. Stroman is accused of giving a piece of methadone pill to her daughter to get her to sleep on Christmas night. The baby was found dead the next day in a Janesville apartment. Around the world, at least 10 people are dead after a typhoon hit the Philippines today. Take a look at these pictures. Strong wind and heavy rain hit a coastal town southwest of the capital, while the eye of the typhoon passed south of Manila today. The storm knocked down trees and power lines and caused electrocutions and widespread power blackouts as it cut a path across the main island of Luzon. More than 370,000 people were evacuated from their homes. The Israeli army carried out dozens of airstrikes in the Gaza Strip after Hamas rejected an Egyptian plan for a ceasefire and continued firing rockets towards Israel. Gaza's health ministry says more than 200 people have been killed in the 9 days of fighting. That's compared to the death of one Israeli citizen. NBC's Aman Moyadin has more from Gaza.
Throughout the night and into the morning, Israel intensified its aerial assault on Gaza, targeting the homes of several Hamas leaders in one night. Israel was willing to accept a truce, but Hamas, the organization that governs Gaza, in which the U.S. considers a terror group, responded by firing hundreds of rockets into Israel. Israel retaliated. Overnight, leaflets were dropped into eastern Gaza, warning residents to leave. They also ordered this hospital evacuated. We found American activist Joe Catrone and 7 other foreigners camped inside here, acting as a human shield, hoping to deter Israel from hitting the hospital. It didn't work.
The Israeli round left a gaping hole in this corner of the hospital. You can see the scale of the destruction it caused. As a result, the doctors had to evacuate patients from rooms into the hallways.
The hospital is overwhelmed. It's not meant to treat emergency cases, but with a steady flow of rising casualties, it had to open its doors. As we left the hospital, a reminder: the war shows no signs of slowing down. An Israeli airstrike hit a nearby home.
Against the backdrop of violence, there is a renewed diplomatic effort underway to try and bring an end to this ongoing fighting. Now, in Cairo, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is arriving there today to hold talks with senior Egyptian officials who are trying to reinvigorate a ceasefire that was rejected yesterday by Hamas. So far, no indications it's going to hold, but certainly one that the people in Gaza would welcome nonetheless. Ayman Mohideen, NBC News, Gaza.
Another international story we're following closely. 4 men suspected of raping a woman visiting Costa Rica from Wisconsin are in custody. The 19-year-old woman was assaulted over the weekend as she was headed back to her hotel from a bar. A group of men reportedly grabbed her off the street before she made it to her hotel. No word on her condition. She traveled from Wisconsin to Costa Rica with a group of students. Her identity has not been released.